Welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit fictional characters against one another in a battle of strength, or wits, or martial arts that tell physics and biology to go fuck themselves. And see who would win. This week, the Street Fighters Chun-Li and Ryu versus the Mortal Combatants Scorpion and Mileena. Fresh out of a civil war and unwilling to let the Phyrexians outshine them in the realm-conquering department, Outworld has reached out to annex yet another world, one where everyone has clearly ignored the first two rules of Fight Club to the point where street fighting is not only common, but the best street fighters are practically celebrities. What better realm to annex through a loosely regulated tournament-style beat-em-up? Okay, look, I don't have the time to write out every melodramatic cutscene that leads to this confrontation, so here's the TLDR version. Mileena, fresh out of the flesh pits and still so thirsty for power, is back in helping whoever's the current King Fugly of Outworld, all for her own selfish ends. Along the way, she discovers Family Man and vengeful spirit Scorpion, and quickly realizes his potential as a ally. Ally's what I said. Miles, fix it.
Alright, can do.
You're totally gonna leave it in, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah.
With the questionable example of M. Bison, Mileena convinces Scorpion that Street Fighter's realm hoards the technology to actually bring people back from the dead. As always, that's all Scorpion needs to hear to really put that anti in anti-hero. Soon after, Interpol officer Chun-Li receives word of multiple hyper-violent and unusual murders across the globe, and decides to take the case. During her investigation, she runs into her old friend, the forever shoeless and low-key Super Saiyan Ryu. Lured by his sense of justice and tireless quest for the next challenge, the barefoot fighter joins the case, and together the two eventually cornered the inhuman duo of Scorpion and Mileena. In what is, I believe, to be our first actual doubles match, which team will walk away with their body parts in the correct places? I have no idea. I'm really shitty at combo-based fighting games. That's why I, Kit Mulcairn, I'm going to be that annoying judgy person that swears they could totally kick everyone's butt at this game, but there's something wrong with your controllers, so I'm not gonna play.
Yeah.
Selecting Ryu and Chun-Li are Dan Mulcairn.
Dan Listkin!
Fuck. And Megan Bob.
Want to see my arguments? I'll show you.
Selecting Mileena and Scorpion are Liz Logan.
Who's going to be my new dance partner? Or my snack? Either one. You pick.
And Miles Schneiderman.
Toasty!
Oh, it's coming out early. All right. In order to determine who gets to be players 1 through 4, I had our advocates play a few rounds of the beloved arcade game Square Enix vs. Malibu Comics. Unsurprisingly, Dan and Liz both wanted Sephiroth, so to compromise, everyone had to settle on playing random characters. Dan got an Aerith impaled on Sephiroth's sword, and Meg and Bob got Cloud Strife and Drag. Clearly, someone had been playing this game for a while to have unlocked those weird alternate skins, but alright, cool. Meanwhile, Liz and Miles drew 2 Malibu Comics characters. Liz got the Ferret, a man with the proportional strength and speed of a ferret.
Yes.
While Miles got the Nightman, a hero with with super dilated pupils. I'm not fucking kidding. That is one of his powers.
Oh my god, I love Malibu Comics. I hate them so much.
Though Dan and Bob filled up their limit breaks, Liz and Miles knocked them out first through superior button mashing. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Something wrong with my controller.
My internet's cutting out. Team Mortal Kombat, you are players 1 and 2. Team Street Fighter, I'm sorry, but you're 3 and 4, so you have to use the controllers with the sticky buttons.
Aww. Alright, but if I lose, I'm gonna unplug the TV right before it happens.
Alright, now I know your Smash Bros. Game.
Girl, you've seen my Smash Bros. Game.
Shut up. Round 1. Fight!
As you might be able to tell, dear listener, I am a little bit under the weather, so please bear with me. Ryu and Chun-Li have dealt with some crazy shit during their time as fighters on various streets. From a green-skinned Brazilian electricity mutant to... yeah, that's about the weirdest thing, actually. Sure, they encounter some dudes who talk about souls a lot, and a would-be deity or two, but for the most part, they fight humans. Awesome humans. Humans who are really good at martial arts and shooting their chi out of their spiky hair follicles or whatever, but still humans, and unarmed humans to boot. They are simply not prepared for an opponent who hurls a flaming kunai at them, drags them over to stare into his tortured undead eyes, and then summons a fiery hand from the depths of hell to drag them into the underworld, presumably while Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa says fatality for no apparent reason, while the audience sits there all like, really? You had to make that into an actual line of dialogue for the movie?
Right, and those fights in that movie are clearly not flawless victories. They
Seriously.
clearly never played the game,
Oh
but
my
I
God.
digress.
He does it with flawless victory too, despite the fact that the person he's saying to it has clearly been hit at least once. But whatever, it doesn't matter because Ryu and Chun-Li have still been dragged to hell, Sam Raimi style. Now, it is true that Scorpion will have to beat down his opponents a bit before summoning the aforementioned giant hand, or ripping their limbs off with his kunai, or pulling their heads and the top half of their spines off their shoulders, or dragging them into a pit of lava and burning off their flesh, or turning into a fucking giant scorpion and stabbing them, or the old standby, removing his mask to reveal the skull underneath and breathing fire on them until nothing remains but a charred skeleton. So how would he actually do in combat with Ryu and Chun-Li? Well, Ryu honestly would be a piece of cake. He and Scorpion are similar in that they are well-rounded, balanced characters with good mixtures of power and speed who serve well as kind of introductory characters for new players. Scorpion primarily uses Hapkido, whereas Ryu uses Ansatsuken. This clash of styles gives Scorpion the advantage because Colin Mulcairn martial arts minutia argument, enough said. But seriously, these two would be pretty well matched if it weren't for Scorpion's vast superiority. Vast when it comes to special moves. Ryu has the Hadouken, and that's about it. Scorpion has fireballs too, but he also has that damn kunai, which I guess isn't really a sentient reptilian animal companion that lives in his hand, thanks for nothing movie. He can also surround himself with hellfire, summon hellfire from under Ryu, summon hellfire minions to attack Ryu, and teleport behind Ryu and punch him across the room. He can actually do that over and over again, and it's super fun, even if it is a little bit cheap. Whatever, it doesn't matter. As for Chun-Li, she's a speed character, so she has the edge in that department, but she's not particularly powerful. Her range is terrible, and again, she can't touch Scorpion when it comes to special attacks. This is a dude who regularly executes moves that have been shown to shatter bones, and still he doesn't stop with the hostility until his sword is pinning your decapitated head to the slab of fiery hell rock he just summoned up from the ground. Oh, and speaking of swords, I should mention the weapons thing again, because as the only character to have used weapons in Mortal Kombat since the beginning, Scorpion is a master not only of the kunai, but of Japanese swordsmanship, and can also use axes and spiked maces to great effect. It's all well and good being a super fast hand-to-hand fighter until you get just one of your moves parried with a katana. Then it's considerably less well or good. And now we can see your heart through the hole in your chest and your brain sliding out of the still attached half of your head. You're not dealing with Magneto cosplay Bison, which is what I assume the M stands for, or even actual Magneto anymore. This is a pissed-off vengeance revenant who could have beaten both these Street Fighters before he commanded the powers of Hellfire. Just save your quarters and let that countdown hit 0, guys. I mean, let's face it. Any team associated with Dan is a team that's going to lose, because Dan is the lamest.
You just took the usual subtext in your argument and just made it text this time around.
Hey, I wasn't talking about you.
Uh-huh.
I was talking about Dan from Street Fighter.
I know what
Jesus
Dan you were
Christ.
talking about. I think everyone knows what Dan you were talking about.
And speaking of winners, besides being voted Ms. Best Smile 2015, Mileena has a lot of other great things going for her, in terms of being a great combatant, that is. She's bloodthirsty and ruthless, has the best of human and Tarkatan physiology, and if she disagrees with you, instead of having a long-winded argument like we do on this podcast, she'll just literally eat your face off. This is where Mileena shines. She's not your average fighter with easily predictable moves or some set of morals that she follows while she fights. Mileena is absolutely fucking bonkers, lashing out with attacks that no one can predict and don't leave her open to weakness. This chick was created by probably the most evil person in her universe to be as heir apparent as Empress, so suffice it to say, she's a badass bitch. A product of evil, sorcery, a splash of nature, and a really bad root canal, she will pull off some insane shit to either try to kill her sister Katana, punish those who don't support her, or get back in an opponent for the inevitable face jokes she has to listen to every day, completely understandably. But you know what? She takes pride in her dental issues and heritage as a Tarkatan, and has become one of the fastest, strongest, and scariest fighters in the Mortal Kombat series. Her incredible speed, agility, and general litheness are her hallmarks, constantly showing she can easily get the drop on her opponents in seconds, typically attacking them from behind, above, or someplace generally unexpected. And speaking of unexpected, Mileena has many weapons and features that give her an edge in combat. Besides tearing people apart with her bare hands, showing immense strength in ripping off someone's head, and using an opponent's weight to her advantage, Mileena has her two sais, the power of teleportation, and yes, her award-winning smile. Mileena is skilled with her sais in both close and ranged combat. She can charge her sais with energy and throw them into an opponent, quickly get in close and stab her opponent, or use her sai as a teleportation tether, throwing it behind an enemy, being able to teleport to the sai, and then using that sai to stab them in the back. And she doesn't always need the sai to teleport anyways. She can choose to teleport whenever, loving to teleport above an opponent to kick them in the face. Obviously. But please, what we've all been waiting for. Mileena's true power lies in her pie hole. Flesh hole. I don't think Mileena would actually eat pie because she hates nice things. Anyways, Mileena is a fucking cannibal. One of her standard moves has her jumping on you, which you may or may not be excited about, and then giving you the hickey from hell, followed by some pokes from one of her sais. Another move has her eating the front part of opponent's head, presumably damaging their prefrontal cortex, which, as we all know, contains the area responsible for executive function, which would extremely which would extremely damage her opponent's ability to take action to defeat her. So yeah, she's fucking smart too. She is so powerful, she can inhale an opponent and digest them so fast that she nearly immediately spits them out in bone or giblet form. If those attacks fail, she also has the ability to use the Wrath Hammer, as shown in the Mortal Kombat 10 comic, and the Amulet of Chinook, the most powerful artifact in the Mortal Kombat universe, which can dramatically increase Mileena's powers. Sorry, but this lady can swallow nails and regurgitate them in the worst possible case of acid reflux and not bat an eye. How are a few kicks and punches from two average fighters going to actually do any damage to her? Maybe it's the face, maybe it's not the face, but either way, Mileena has proved multiple times that she cannot be crossed without consequences. Any character from Street Fighter, let alone Ryu and Chun-Li, isn't even remotely on the same level of Mileena. Possessing strength greater than a human, having to fight through multiple dimensions, waging otherworldly wars, and ruling as an empress, the only thing Ryu and Chun-Li have ever had to worry about is if they'll be able to win a cute little martial arts tournament. Street Fighter is like the Olympics, where there are rules, and a natural path of progression in order to win. Mortal Kombat is like Fight Club, where people fight with no rules in order to gain power over others, and are completely insane. In Street Fighter, you want to immobilize or defeat your opponent. In Mortal Kombat, you want to completely brutalize, mutilate, and murder your opponent. Mileena will chew up Ryu and Chun-Li and spit them out. And guess what? She can actually do that!
Oh my god.
That was a borderline Stitch laugh. Team Street Fighter. I hope you've been filling up your super combo gauges.
Whether in live action, animation, or video games, Ryu is always a force to be reckoned with. In the Street Fighter Alpha anime, his punches produce shockwaves so strong that they crack the ground beneath him, and his Hadouken attack blows the side off a skyscraper. In the Street Fighter 2 anime, Ryu's power is analyzed by Bison's computers and is determined that Ryu is almost twice as powerful as any normal human could possibly be. Ryu merely lingers to watch a fight between Dalsim and E Honda, and he's so powerful that his very aura distracts Dalsim into losing the fight. You know how the character Sagat has a big ol' scar on his chest? Yeah, Ryu did that, with his bare hands, with a closed fist uppercut. Sagat is just lucky that Ryu was aiming for his chin. If he'd actually gone for Sagat's torso, he would have torn him in half. He's repeatedly and definitively shown as the world's greatest fighter by a huge margin. Everyone who goes up against him, almost without exception, was undefeated until he came along. So, how does Ryu compare to these Mortal Kombat characters? Well, everyone in the Mortal Kombat storyline eventually gets their ass beat by some guy named Liu Kang. I wonder what his deal is. Let's see. Apparently he's a dude with amazing focus and discipline, known for his peerless martial arts skills, devastating flying kicks, and the ability to shoot long-range fireballs from his hands. Oh, whoops, sorry, I was reading Ryu's description here. Let me find Liu Kang. Oh wait, they're the exact same character! There's not a ton of canon fights from the storyline of Mortal Kombat, but in those few fights that there are, neither Scorpion nor Mileena have ever beaten Liu Kang. Now, there are some differences between Ryu and Liu Kang, I'll grant you, but Liu Kang's continued victory over not just Scorpion and Mileena, but over everyone else in Mortal Kombat is due to the same force which gives Ryu his similar win record in his own universe. Discipline and focus, elements which are absolutely critical for mastery over martial arts. Are Liu Kang and Ryu more boring and less interesting than characters like Scorpion and Mileena? Without question they are. But they've put their points into something much more important than appealing to third graders, learning how to kick ass reliably and effectively. So how does this fight end up going down? Well, at range, Ryu can, of course, throw his trusty fireballs, which serve the dual function of also intercepting opposing projectiles. We see in the Street Fighter Alpha anime that Ryu's reflexes are honed enough that he can dodge bullets fired at point-blank range, so Scorpion's slow-moving harpoon that he announces loudly will be a joke, and not even Mileena can throw her sai faster than a bullet. If they decide to use their teleport, punch, and or kick attacks to close the distance from an unexpected vector, Ryu's spinning hurricane kick can just as easily hit characters from any direction. Ryu is a disciplined fighter who won't be goaded into making reckless attacks that leave him open, while Scorpion and Melina's own thirst for blood and short tempers will lead them to foolishly overextending themselves.
Chun-Li is the first woman in the Street Fighter games. The first. In a whole slew of sausage, she is the lone woman standing there, and she shows that old adage that women must do something twice as well to be thought half as good. Okay, math types. She's consistently thought of as one of the top tier characters in the game, if not the top tier character in her game. So she's pretty much definitively 6 to 8 times better than the best dude in the game. Yes, I am qualified to do metaphorical math. Please hold your applause. Let's go back to the beginning, though. She started studying Tai Chi at age 5. Allow me to repeat that. At an age when most of us wanted to grow up to be a dragon or choose what color jacket we had to wear, Chun-Li was practicing Tai Chi and learning how to focus her attention and body. She chose to do this. There was no one forcing her, no one giving her a daddy complex. Mileena. She just decided that this was the course of action for her. She then mastered... Oh, this is not going to go well. These are words. Help me, weeaboo. Okay. Kukaken, Dantai, Chuken, Sanda, Taekwondo, Karate, Judo, and Capoeira. Hashtag very small Dan. But that wasn't good enough either. She then went on to custom build her own style of martial arts, something worthy of her sacred thighs. Using those amazing skills, she became a detective at 18 and then joined Interpol. Joined is not really the right word, though, because you cannot join Interpol like it's the debate society. You apply, and then after some insanely rigorous screening, they decide whether or not you're good enough to be hired by them out of a pool of applicants that are from everywhere on the entire planet. So yeah, not a small feat. For comparison, Scorpion is an aimless, wandering weirdo without a career who gets into parking lot fights in the underworld. Mileena is an assassin, for which there is no external review board or independent verification of abilities. She probably just went to Kinko's, printed the business cards, and posted a cryptic offer on Craigslist. Chun-Li is focused, committed, dependable, and independently verified as a force to be reckoned with. In a scene that is possibly the longest cartoon iteration of showering, drying one's hair, and then brushing it, Street Fighter II, the animated movie, addresses what Chun-Li is capable of, even when caught unawares. Vega drops from literally above onto her bed with Wolverine-style claws, and she's just in a nightgown hanging out barefoot, and then there's fighting. She gets scratched and bloodied, but then she picks up her fucking couch and hurls it at him. And then, even while weakened with blood loss and strain, she focuses herself enough to kick him through a brick wall. Not with one kick either. She just hammers his head and body into the wall like he's the world's most unhappy nail, until the wall gives way and he falls. Did I mention that during this fight, she literally runs up walls and leaps off of them in order to change her position? Even in her underwear and fresh out of the shower, she's able to take on a blade user. So let's see how she'd match up against Scorpion and Mileena. Well, Chun-Li has the capability to zone them with energy blasts in order to keep them where she wants them. She's shown crazy leaping off wall abilities. If they teleported behind her, she can easily get back into the position she wants. Her Phoenix Wing fan attack actually cuts through projectile attacks and allows her to attack the projectile thrower, so projectiles are out. Ultimately, she has 3 different styles of attack. She can do energy blasts if she doesn't want to get too close to her opponents, including a massive energy ball called Kikosho Goku, and you know it's good because it's got Goku in the title. She's got powerful kicks where she stays on the ground and pounds the hell out of your face, chest, spleen, anything in range with her spinning bird kick. She's also got attacks that I can only describe as leg-related magic. She can defy gravity by kicking again, and kicking again until she is at the very top of the screen in a move that really suggests physics do not apply to her. That move allows her to get an extended hang time's worth of face kicks in. She can also create a leg tornado with Hosenka, a powered-up spinning bird that tornado kicks her opponent into the air, after which they land in a sad, broken heap. So if you get in range of her mystical legs, you're in for a world of pain. On top of all that, while she's kicking the absolute balls out of you, she can do the Big Dipper flashing air leg, which kicks you so hard that she goes through you and out the other side.
Oh, shit.
I didn't see any blood and guts, so I'm assuming it's a kick that is to the very soul, as well as to all of your vital organs.
It's a quantum kick.
It is. It's a kick that is in all dimensions at once, so you can't really see it. Projectiles aren't a problem. Range isn't a problem because she can keep you where she wants or attack from afar. And if someone does get into her range, not only can she grab an opponent in mid-attack, as she does in Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, she will also just kick you into the next dimension of space-time. As for working in a team, Dan and I both bore through the pain of Street Fighter Alpha, and we learned a lot about the power of teamwork. At the beginning of the film, Chun-Li is fighting some dudes, as she does. And Ryu shows up out of nowhere. She has never met him before. We know this to be true because voiceover dialogue for Chun-Li says, "Who is this guy?" But she immediately, yeah, it's a great movie. She immediately has his back and shouts behind you so he doesn't get shot by a dude who stumbles back to his feet holding a gun. For obvious reasons, Ryu responds by somehow kicking the guy and his clothes to shreds. And a partnership was forged. If you can't instinctively and permanently rely on the person who jumps into a random fight to help you, then what's wrong with you? That's how I've chosen all of my friends, and it's worked out great.
That's how we met.
At a house. I know, I was gonna say, Kit and I met at a housewarming pit fight, for example.
You might think that the Mortal Kombat characters are deadlier than the Street Fighters. I mean, Scorpion and Mileena have fatalities, right? They actually kill people. When this fight starts, Mileena can just inhale Ryu and spit out his bones, or Scorpion can turn into a penguin and lay an exploding egg. Not so fast, Jumpy Mitt conclusions. The only times the characters in Mortal Kombat ever use their finishing moves is when they have already defeated their opponent. I don't care if you know the code for Mileena's nail shooter finisher, back, forward, low kick. You can't do it if your enemy still has a life bar. Fatalities simply will not determine the outcome of this match. Now, Street Fighter doesn't have fatalities, but it does have so-called hyper combos, where the characters use supercharged versions of their own moves that take off huge chunks of your life bar and often take up the whole screen. These special attacks are magnitudes more powerful than even the cheesiest Mortal Kombat combo. Unlike fatalities, hyper combos can be used during a fight and will make a difference in this match. Also, in the Marvel vs. Capcom series, you can actually have all the characters in your team make their hyper combo attacks simultaneously, which is essentially a death sentence for whichever unlucky opponent happens to be on screen at the time, even if they manage to block it. As much as I love the absurd lore of these two series, the truth of the matter is, they're not really that complicated. In the end, good always defeats evil, and teamwork always defeats selfishness. Pure intentions are a kind of force unto themselves, and characters who present a united front fighting for goodness will always emerge victorious against selfish, destructive characters fighting for conquest, spelled with a K, of course. At least the MK characters have the option of performing a harakiri on themselves before Ryu and Chun-Li finish them off for good. That's about as much of a victory as they can hope to get out of this fight.
Impressive combos, guys. But don't put down those controllers yet, because it's time for the rebooties, starting with Team Combat.
But
Round 2, fight!
One of the major things that, Dan, that you use to kind of determine or to convey Ryu's powerfulness is the scar that he left on Sagat from the Shoryuken.
I'm imagining Bob Saget.
Yeah, of course.
I just want everyone to know.
What you failed to include in that little description was the fact that before that happened, Sagat beat the shit out of Ryu. And he did not have a chance. Sagat beat him within an inch of his life. And the only reason Ryu won that fight is because he sucker punched Sagat when Sagat was honorable and went to help him up.
Allow me to introduce you to the concept of time. That occurred in Street Fighter 1. We have now moved past several dozen games, including many, many crossover games. Ryu has grown considerably in this time, largely because he has managed to excise the evil that was within him, and as a result, he is now able to take down opponents like, say, the Hulk, or Galactus.
Allow me to continue on that. The darkness, if you're referring to Sasui no Hado, that is responsible for a lot of his power in some of the earlier Street Fighter games. And at the end of Street Fighter V, he has lost that power and is a bit less powerful because he can't tap into that dark energy.
I don't know that he's less powerful. He's still seen as being the greatest warrior on the planet, basically. He's tends to stay out of the storyline of the later games a little bit more, but anytime he gets into a fight after that point, he wins it every single time.
You guys are grossly underestimating the power of Mileena's teleportation. So, as Megan Bob was saying in her argument, the first time Ryu and Chun-Li meet in the anime or whatever, Ryu almost got shot from behind and would have gotten shot if he were not warned by Chun-Li. So you're telling me that some random dude with a gun is going to be able to shoot Ryu if Chun-Li didn't warn him, but yet they would somehow magically be able to tell if a skilled, otherworldly, dimensional assassin teleported behind them? I'm sorry, but no. Her teleportation, they will not be able to detect. The thing about Street Fighter is that, everyone's jumping and, repositioning. Part of fighting is looking at your opponent, and while they're jumping over you, sure, yeah, you have a chance to react and get yourself set up for whatever blow they're gonna get, which is part of Street Fighter. You have an upper block, you have a lower block, yada yada. But when your opponent is in front of you, disappears into thin air where there is no trace of where they're going, there is no indication of what they're doing, and then suddenly come up behind you, you're telling me that some guy who's almost going to get shot in the back by a gun is going to be able to tell someone teleporting behind them? I don't think so.
I mean, that's what M. Bison does all the time.
It'll be fine because Chun-Li will be watching and we'll have Ryu's back. But more than that is that if Mileena disappears, Chun-Li's just gonna heaven rising legs herself up to the top of the screen and just hang out till she sees what the fuck's going on, and then she'll just drop back down.
Helicopter up there.
That's what she does, man.
Oh, the fuck you think she won't? Oh my god, why does she have those thighs if not for like leg magic? That's what she has. Amazing names for her stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
One of her kicks is called Supreme Mountain Heaven Flying Legs.
Okay.
You're talking about Chun-Li, like, the ability to leap and jump off the walls is like some great magical thing. Literally everybody can do that in Mortal Kombat.
I mean, I haven't seen any of us do it lately. So
In Mortal Kombat.
I mean, can you hover there like it's weird? Like, I mean, can you be in there for a longer amount of time than physics would permit?
And frankly,
can you kick?
Yes.
Stop in midair, kick more, stop in midair,
Yes.
and kick yet further.
Lots of people do that.
I feel like you're misrepresenting things. I just don't think that's true. I'm just refusing to accept this.
Okay, well, you can refuse to accept it all you want.
I am.
I want to talk a little bit about fatalities. I wrote my opening argument, and I think we both kind of wrote our opening arguments under the assumption that, yes, you're right, Dan. Fatalities are generally something that happens at the end of the fight after the health bar is down. However, you say that it's impossible for fatalities to happen before that, and I don't think that's true. Because we're dealing with people who have these powers all the time, right? It's not like you suddenly get the power to turn into dragons and shit as soon as they beat somebody. That's not how it works. They have these inherent abilities. I think it's reasonable to assume, given what we know about the rules of Mortal Kombat, that in order for the match to kind of count toward a Mortal Kombat victory in the tournament, you have to actually beat them in a martial arts contest or a weapons contest, and then once they're beaten, you can do whatever the fuck you want to their defeated corpse, or defeated soon-to-be corpse, rather. We are under no such restrictions against Ryu and Chun-Li. There's no official match happening here to determine Mortal Kombat as decided by Outworld and everything like that. This is just a fight. So I would argue that we probably can use the magical powers that you see Scorpion and Mileena use over the course of their fatalities. And moreover, even if you reject that particular logic, I previously referenced the movie. In the movie, Scorpion actually does remove his face, reveal his skull, and do his fatality fire breath before his fight is finished.
So a couple of things about that. The vast majority of the Mortal Kombat games do not take place within the confines of a tournament. Most of the time it's just like Shao Kahn's trying to invade and everyone's kind of fighting back, and they're also punching each other for ill-defined reasons.
No, but that's how Shao Kahn invades. He has to invade with the tournament.
That was true in the first game, but in the second games moving forward, by and large, Shao Kahn sort of threw those rules out the window and was like, well, screw it, I'm just going to invade anyway. So, like, the second and third games are a lot about his, like, extinction squads kind of coming in, extermination squads, I think is what it's called, just kind of coming in and fighting people, and, like, everyone starts fighting each other. It's not within the bounds of a tournament, so, like, those certainly aren't grounds within which they would have been restricted from using their fatalities, but again, we never see anyone using their fatalities, even outside of a tournament circumstance. Regarding the thing in the Mortal Kombat movie that you pointed out, where he uses his fatality, it would seem, against Johnny Cage, first of all, Scorpion later on gets a fire breath attack in which he pulls off his mask and shoots some fire and then puts his mask back on. And that is just a normal attack. It's not a fatality. And secondly, him using that attack on Johnny Cage did not win him that fight, because later on in that same fight, he gets taken out by the movie's comic relief, who is Johnny Cage, a man who earlier in the movie was defeated by his own luggage and whose prime claim to fame is perfecting the penis punch.
Well, look, man, Johnny Cage is like incredibly awesome, and we don't need to. I mean, Johnny Cage is the best Mortal Kombat character. We've established this. You and I between us, Dan, have established this is true.
You may be misremembering this.
No. You and I have established this. So with that in mind, I think we can safely say it doesn't matter. You know, that he happened to lose that particular fight in that crappy movie, or, you know, wonderfully crappy movie, we'll say. He did pull out the hellfire outside of the context. He did pull out the move which has traditionally been his fatality move since the first game, so I believe my point still stands.
Team Street.
Street it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get Street.
You guys suck. More like suck fighter.
All right, fair point.
How?
Fair point.
Sick burn.
Okay,
Just
so
like
I
my
want
shitty
to take a
bird.
look at the opposition's in-fiction win record so far. Scorpion, he's kind of half and half in terms of his wins and losses. He does get killed a lot, though. Certainly many more times than either Ryu or Chun-Li have ever been killed. Hint, that number is 0 for both of them. However, Mileena first appears in Mortal Kombat 2, where she is killed by Kitana. She appears again in Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, where she is defeated by Liu Kang. Later on, she gains the power to read Kitana's thoughts, and with this advantage, she confronts Kitana again in Mortal Kombat Gold, where Kitana beats her and locks her in a dungeon. And then in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, she tries to become ruler of Outworld and is killed by Shang Tsung. And then most recently in Mortal Kombat 10, she once again attempts to rule Outworld and is defeated, first by Shao Kahn's son, Kotal Khan, and then by a special forces group, and then by Devora, before she's finally brought before Kotal Khan and executed.
If, you know, the earlier Street Fighters don't necessarily add to your argument, the earlier Mortal Kombats don't necessarily add to them either, because they were retconned. Anyways, to confront your point about Mortal Kombat 10, part of the reason Mileena failed was not purely based on her combat ability. This is still a fight. She was manipulated by someone she loved. She was in like a political chess game with these people, and she lost. Fair enough. I never said she was smart. She knows a lot about the brain, but she may not know a lot about political Game of Thrones style intrigue. But this is a fight. And she will beat you. I mean, eat you. She will eat you.
Defeat, eat you.
Defeat you. Yes.
Nice.
Thank you, Judge.
You have not said that they can work together. I mean, what they seem to have in common is that they're unhinged, which is great if you're looking to foment, like, horrible discord, less so if you're looking to form functional partnerships. I'm not sure how you see that happening
Scorpion-
without them beating the shit out of each other or eating one another.
Scorpion will literally work for anyone loyally and faithfully who promises him the return of his wife and child. So he's not exactly unstable. He's angry about the way his life and the end of it went down. And if Mileena's the one who can get him what he wants, then he will follow her to the ends of the earth.
In the 2011 Mortal Kombat game, Raiden tells Scorpion that if Scorpion spares Sub-Zero, then Raiden will return Scorpion's clan to life. So Scorpion goes in with, like, every intention of doing so, and then he freaking kills Sub-Zero because he gets all angry. He's easily goaded into anger. That causes him to make really dumb decisions.
Well, that's Sub-Zero. He fucking hates Sub-Zero. He doesn't hate either of you nearly enough.
He wants his family back, and who better to help grant him that than an empress who is trying to take over the entire fucking world and who could easily have the resources to help him with that. And Mileena has already shown that she can align herself with a whole bunch of other people in order to further her goals.
I have to say, like, you guys were talking about how both Scorpion and Mileena use weapons, whereas Chun-Li and Ryu don't. The thing is that, like, using weapons in Mortal Kombat is... I don't want to say this. It's a double-edged sword. Because the thing about that is...
No, just don't. Don't go there,
no,
Dan.
I said it. We're moving on.
I don't know.
Because, like, the way Mortal Kombat works is when you have a weapon out, you deal more damage, but you also take more damage because, I don't know, like, you're tuckered out too easily when you're, like, wielding a sword or something. But, like...
You need a little snack in it?
But, like, using a weapon is a risky proposition that will not give you an edge and will actually make your defeat faster if your opponent is more skilled, which Ryu and Chun-Li unquestionably are.
We're not in the Mortal Kombat world, and in the actual world where it seems like Chun-Li and Ryu at least reside somewhat closer to, using weapons against unarmed opponents actually does help a lot because of the slicey and the cutty and the blood.
Our ultimate moves tear people apart. I eat you for breakfast. Whereas your ultimate moves, your so-called hyper combos, they don't even cause you to bleed. No bruising, no even internal bleeding. Don't see how that's going to hurt these people who are used to getting their flesh ripped off.
We fight in a world where, like, the X-ray attacks, which actually show graphic descriptions of bones being broken, is, like, not even a finisher. That shit would take y'all down in a second.
Well, you've never been kicked in the soul before.
Hey, Scorpion totally has been kicked in the soul.
That was more of a... Yeah, but that's a lifelong experience. His whole life has been being slowly kicked in the soul, nards.
And on that bally note, the TV just turned off. Dan, what are you doing? Actually, no, I think we're getting some kind of electrical interference. For once, I don't think it's our mascot Slender Man, so, do you think this means it's the lightning round?
Oh no!
Probably.
Raiden has come to help!
Oh shit!
Christopher Lambert.
After multiple stage changes, the Street Fighters cornered the mortal combatants on a beach in a place called Nuzak Island.
Oh no.
As the four prepare to turn the white sand red, their muscles instead relax as the ocean breeze washes over them. Like the waves, their hostility ebbed away, ultimately turning into competitive drive. A gregarious man with a shaved head and wraparound sunglasses approaches them and introduces himself as Zack.
Oh, son of
Oh, I love the slow realization. The owner of this luxury resort island and host of the Dead or Alive Extreme Games. He loans the four of them Zack Bucks and encourages them to make use of all amenities and games provided. That's right, y'all. You've been sucked into a fighting game spin-off series. Yeah, that one. Scorpion and Ryu, you will be competing in the butt battle.
What? I'm sorry?
That was a number 2. I think
Okay.
you only played number 1.
I played number 1 for maybe 5 minutes.
I can attest to the fact that you played longer than that.
But before you start, you've got to put on the most alluring swimsuit possible. No lame-ass boxer-type swim shorts, buddy. Be creative and describe it well. In the boys-only game, Butt Battle, you will have to balance on a floating pad in a pool, standing back-to-back with your opponent. And then, you try to push your opponent into the pool using only your ass without falling in yourself.
Wow.
Explain why your butt will reign supreme. For the ladies, you can wear whatever you want. Bikini, fine. Full body rash guard, fine. You'll be competing in the women's only marine race, where you'll be riding on jet skis toward the finish line. I think you two are equally matched, but explain why you think your woman will have the edge. Finally, the co-ed volleyball match. Explain how your duo of martial artists makes for the better volleyball team. And gentlemen, I better hear all about your bonkers jiggle physics, if you know what I mean. Because I turned the age up to 99.
Wow.
It makes no fucking sense, but yeah.
Wow.
If it wasn't obvious, this lightning this lightning round is rated M for mature. Street Fighter, showed you, Kay.
You mean you just gave me carte blanche for this fucking lightning round?
Yup.
All right, so I'm sorry, what was the name of the men's challenge? The butt battle?
It's the butt battle.
Okay, so for the butt battle, Ryu will transition into his swimwear, which looks identical to his normal gi, but is very, very small and just around his waist. And
It's a little bit of skirt situation. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah, basically. And then his headband just transitions down to become a belt. Now, Scorpion has been in hell for a long time, and he's kind of languished there, you know? He spends a lot of time being angry, but Ryu trains all the effing time. You know, he does his squats, he does his lunges, he does all sorts of things, and his lower body is a force to be reckoned with. There is no way that Scorpion is going to be able to push this man mountain off of the little worthless floating paddleboard or whatever it is.
For Chun-Li, sorry, apologies. I think she's probably going to be dressed as Left Shark.
Oh my god.
I don't know. She just is.
Oh my God.
She is going to be dressed as Left Shark. I don't know why. She likes a classic, as you can tell from her hairstyle and clothes, so she doesn't mind an older meme. So she is going to use the power of the jet ski, but I also want to say she's not going to be lazy. She's not going to rely on the power of the jet ski. She is going to Flintstones the shit out of this. So she is going to use those thighs and paddle her way to, she's going to be like, this jet ski, this is not as fast as I am used to going. I think I can do better. And give it a little like power up via the power of her magnificent rending flying legs.
I can see those being motor-like, yes.
I would say that for the volleyball tournament, I mean, if you're going to have a partner in volleyball, there is no better partner than Ryu, who can set you up for a spike with a Shoryuken so well.
Oh, that ball's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have like 5 minutes to prep for it coming down.
Dan, you realize that if it goes outside the field of play, it's a foul,
yeah, but
right?
but up isn't outside the field of play.
Like...
Besides that, you know, Ryu's been in a lot of games, you guys. He's been in like Puzzle Fighter, he's been in Super Smash Brothers, he's crossed over with so many different games. Of course he's played volleyball, of course he's run into the dead or alive people before. He's gonna know all about this, it's not gonna be a problem.
He's
And
actually
Chun-Li loves
never
following rules.
He's never
She
run into
probably
the
has
dead or
read the
alive people
rule book.
before.
I mean, he might as well have.
But he never has.
Chun-Li's a rule follower, so she will be like scrupulous about this, and she has the level of dedication and precision. Like, I'm sure this whole Tai Chi and energy throwing thing, like, what is energy throwing if not like serving a beach ball? No, not beach ball, volleyball. That's what this game is called, volleyball.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
She will take off the Left Shark thing for this.
Well, maybe you need at least
Oh,
your
no.
legs free.
She ripped holes in it. I'm not gonna lie,
Oh.
just for her legs.
Team combat. You can leave your masks on. Did
Oh,
I just
Wonderful.
reveal my old ladiness by loving Tom Jones?
Yeah,
no!
you do.
Tom
You
Jones is like the
absolutely do.
greatest thing. Shut up! It's amazing.
That song
I
is
love
so
you.
great. Anyway, go ahead.
First of all, I want to say, Dan, if you think for 1 second that you don't do squats in hell, let me tell you something. Squats are all you do.
Is it just like hell Pilates down there?
Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
burpees day and night.
Oh no!
Okay, let me tell you something. That is some toned undead booty right there. All right? But here's the other thing about it. You know how Scorpion's all skeletal, right? That butt's also bony, guys. It's a bony butt.
How is it toned and also bony?
So it's
The power of being
striking.
undead.
It's striking and angular.
How could something be dead and also alive, kid? I don't know. I just know that it happens, and Scorpion is it. So that's my answer to that.
I did
But-
not read like toned bony ass in the Necronomicon anywhere.
That is not dead, which can eternal squat.
That's right. I'm just saying, Ryu's gonna have one hell of a hard time trying to match asses with Scorpion, who's just, those bones are just gonna be digging into Ryu's glutes, and it's gonna be so painful. I picture him dressed in kind of like those, like, kind of spandex short shorts that some dudes wear when they're working out. You know, black, but with, like, yellow highlights, maybe some flames going on. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Except the mask. Unless, I guess maybe it could be Skull.
Yeah, you gotta remember, the Street Fighter people, they're average. You're like, your average model, blah, blah, blah. The Mortal Kombat people are gonna be fulfilling a certain kink and fetish crowd. And I think we have to play to our strengths. So, yeah, Scorpion starts out in his booty shorts, but eventually Mileena comes over and maniacally bites off his shorts.
Oh shit!
And puts
Revealing?
Well, chains. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yay.
Scorpion
That
has
seems so uncomfortable.
a chain suit. I don't know if you remember the bathing suit Borat wore, but
Oh no!
so it goes underneath his groin like that, and it comes up on his shoulders, and he's just got a nice little some support for
Yeah.
down
I like
there.
that. That's
So
good.
it frames it nicely, and he has some support at the same time, and it's kinky. Moving on, Mileena.
Waiting for the fan art, people.
Yay.
Mileena is going to destroy this jet ski battle because she has a lot of experience riding. Anyways, hi Baraka, you doing good over there? Great. Okay, love you, sweetie. Mwah. All right, and what she's wearing, as we've seen throughout the Mortal Kombat series, Mileena's outfits she's gotten more scantily clad as the series have progressed. So we're just gonna say fuck it, and she's gonna be completely naked. No clothes, no mask. She is going to be far more aerodynamic than Chun-Li with her dress and weird pigtail ox horn thingies. So the mask can be on, and she's going to have a little bit of an advantage because while she's racing her jet ski, she's going to be sticking her mouth into the water and catching fish with her face. And she is going to have...
chowing down while she's racing.
She likes to have blood in her mouth. That's weird. Okay, anyways. She likes to have blood in her mouth. And what she's going to do, Chun-Li plays by the rules. Mileena does not play by the rules. So she is going to take the fish impaled on her nasty, nasty teeth and throw them at Chun-Li, which will cover Chun-Li in fish blood, and Chum, which will attract all the sharks that are inevitably in the ocean, and then Chun-Li will be eaten by sharks because that's the only possible outcome. And
Well,
Mileena
she's
will
wearing
win.
a shark disguise.
I mean,
They will recognize her as their queen.
They will recognize her as a smaller shark and eat her.
I hate to say that's not how sharks work, guys.
Yeah.
I know. No, it's not.
And
Not
so
matriarchal.
moving on to the couples volleyball.
Teleporters are the best of volleyball.
Yeah.
By the way.
And we're used to setting and handling decapitated heads, so a
Yeah.
volleyball isn't too far from that.
Not only that, but Scorpion has demonstrated that he has amazing aim. So one of the fatalities that I think I mentioned during my opening argument is the one where he takes his sword, cuts through you at the torso, cuts through your neck, so there's 3 pieces of you, then he kicks the torso part out from under the head, right? And it hits like the giant slab of rock that he summoned up. The head goes flying up the air. Scorpion then throws his sword, which impales the head on its way down to Earth and sticks into the giant slab of rock, okay? That is some aim. Scorpion is going to be great at volleyball. Not only can both these characters teleport, not only can they both jump around the fucking set like they're, I don't know, better than Chun-Li. Jokes fail me at the moment.
And please remember that both Scorpion and Mileena are still wearing their previous outfits, so the distraction level for the opposing team will be very high.
Yeah, for sure.
The other team's going to be so going between attraction and revulsion that they won't have any other brain processing power to figure out how to hit a ball.
Yeah, they'll just be totally confused.
Oh, and our team name is Team Kink Combat.
There you go.
I highly regret judging a team's battle, so I'm gonna go lament now. Bye.
Liz, you gave me the best mental image.
What do I do?
I'm so sorry.
Liz, you gave me the best mental image when you were talking about Baraka being there, because my image of him was of him standing on the beach with an impaled beach ball at the end of his spikes, just looking really sad.
Oh, so sad.
Oh, poor Baraka. Dude, even Mileena's embarrassed of him. So sad.
Yeah.
I do have to say that despite its tremendous flaws, the original Mortal Kombat film is one of my favorite things ever, and I've watched it so many times. It was so much fun watching it again.
Those are
It's
some
so
misogynistic movies, though, dude. No joke.
Oh, I know it. I know
Oh,
it.
man. I will say when...
Is it just, do they say sweetie all the time? Or like, or do they constantly go, well, because she's a woman? Like, I mean, how does it manifest?
Sonya really only wins, like, one fight in the first
Okay.
movie, and then she gets captured. It's super lame, and, like, Liu Kang and Johnny Cage just do a lot more fighting, and
It
they're...
was a little bit hard because they hired actual martial artists to play Liu Kang and Johnny Cage, and they hired an actress to play Sonya, so they couldn't quite do as much with her because of that decision, which was fucked up and wrong. And then it gets even worse in the next one. There's like a mud fight between two girls.
Oh
and
my
it's just
God.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Melina
it's the
and
worst.
Sonya. It's
It's
so
the worst.
bad too.
I will say, watching the first Mortal Kombat movie again, though, I established in my head canon that Raiden in that movie is actually Connor McLeod, after the end of the first Highlander movie. Because, he absorbs all that lightning and everything, and now he's just wandering the world as this old wise man. And
Well, whoever he is, he's possessing Dr. Hibbert from The Simpsons because he has the weird tendency to laugh at
right,
inappropriate
at
times.
inappropriate moments.
If you were casting it, would you want to cast martial artists or would you want to cast actors?
Honestly, the dudes playing Liu Kang and Cage are not bad actors.
Oh, I think the guy who plays Liu Kang in that movie is the best actor in the whole film.
I think the best actor in that movie were the two guys, like the two extras, whose only job was to turn to each other and go, "Yeah, Goro, yeah!" It's always them.
Yeah, I could go with that. This match, y'all. I was
Yeah,
like, what
this
do I
is
research?
Hard.
We said video games
sorry.
primarily, Dan.
And then we discussed it afterwards.
What?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's too late.
Just saying.
I can't undo it. No, I know. I betrayed you and I'm sorry.
I didn't rewatch the Street Fighter movie, the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I
neither
didn't do it.
Neither did I.
No,
Although
no, we didn't
Ming-Na
either.
Wen plays Chun-Li in it, and that was maybe the biggest draw I had towards watching that again.
Neil even was like, actually, maybe we should because she's fucking great in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I was like, I do not think
She is
that
great in
a single
Agents of
Ming-Na
S.H.I.E.L.D. though.
Wen.
Oh yeah,
so
she's
good.
fantastic in it.
But like a single Ming-Na Wen cannot save the rest of this thing.
A single Ming-Na Wen doesn't cancel out that much Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Wait, is she in it the one that Raul Julia's in too?
Yeah. So maybe if Raul Julia and Ming-Na
fuck.
Wen did a fusion dance in that movie.
Oh, poor Raul.
Oh
Julia.
shit, she's Mulan?
Yeah, she plays Mulan.
She's amazing.
Just a
She's
career
the
of
greatest.
awesomeness.
Chun-Li, Mulan, Melinda May. Yeah, I'll take that.
That's a hefty trio right there.
Have you guys seen Mortal Kombat Legacy?
I haven't, no.
It's good shit.
That's the YouTube
It's a-
one,
What
right?
is that?
Yeah, it's like this YouTube series of like little 10-minute things detailing various Mortal Kombat characters like origins as reimagined by the creator. It's really good.
Did you guys watch those things that Dan, did you only share them with me because I needed the help the most?
Oh no, I only shared it with you.
Yeah. That guy was a fucking amazing.
Yeah, he was
I was
great.
like,
What are
what
you
is
talking
your
about?
beef? You're like the greatest genius ever.
There was this YouTube series. I'm gonna look up the name. He goes
I
through
know.
fighting game characters, and
I owe him money
oh yeah,
now.
he summarizes their crazy, dumb, self-contradictory backstories in the best way. It's so succinct.
beautiful.
It's so clear
Oh, yeah,
and easy to
send
follow.
that.
It's called History Behind the Warrior. Kit actually found it because she needed to do research for a bunch of characters she didn't know anything about.
Y'all could have just played Street Fighter.
Well,
I don't have a system that has it, I don't think. I don't know. What's it on?
it's on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I just don't know how to play video games.
There you go.
That's my defense.
I actually own.
don't know how buttons work.
I actually own far more Mortal Kombat games than I do Street Fighter games.
Yeah, I can see
How
that.
dare you?
I can totally see that.
Traitor.
I mean, Street Fighter was a great arcade game. I don't think it translates well to home platforms.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you guys. Have you ever met somebody who did not grow up playing video games and later became a video game player in their like late 20s, 30s?
Yes.
No.
Really? Okay.
I don't think I have. I was thinking about that, but no, most of the gamers I know started pretty early and stayed that way.
I've never done it, so I feel like it's like, am I too old to learn how to skateboard? Like, I don't know.
Dude, I know.
Also, would I enjoy it?
I know people
don't
that
know.
started in their like 40s and 50s because they grew up without that and then were like, hey, this is good again. I know a lot of people that have started later. For sure. A lot of them are PC players. They'll play like Counter-Strike, like old school Battlefield. A lot of them play shooters.
Okay.
Given your love for inter-character stuff, Bob, I think go PC gaming and start doing like BioWare games, or maybe like Telltale games. I think you would really like.
There just aren't that many games out there that are for people who don't like fighting anything, who are just like, that seems boring. I'd have to do.
There actually
grinding.
are. They just don't get a lot of press. There are a lot of games out there like that.
Yeah, especially nowadays with like how many indie games there are out.
Some of the shit that's on Steam is really good.
Yeah. Bob,
Like-
sign up for a Steam account and then there's tons of free games that you can just like try.
okay.
and
Or they're
then
really
maybe
cheap. Like
oh yeah, they have
I mean,
sales
their
all
free
the
to play
time.
catalog is huge though.
Like the Stanley
Okay.
Parable? You
Yeah.
probably like that.
I do want to play Stanley Parable because I actually was considering using it in the class. I really want to do a video games as literature thing.
Yes.
I say as a person who doesn't fucking play video games, but who is fascinated by them nonetheless and thinks I think they can be one of the most immersive kinds of storytelling.
Oh, shit.
I don't think they are necessarily, but I think that sometimes they get there.
I just realized
like
that
Mass Effect is insane.
I just realized that I'm breaking character. Bob, video games are worthless. You're not missing anything.
Oh, shut up, Miles.
I didn't want to come back.
Why not? We love you.
I was just hoping, you'd be like, oh, kid died in the bathroom or something. Oh well, let's end the podcast.
That would be terrible.
I didn't want to decide. There were like so many strengths that I feel like didn't give one side a particularly big edge over the other necessarily. Like one side's probably a better team, the other side probably has much more devastating like attacks. This might be the first match where I was so on the fence that I had to use the lightning round.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
So now this is a referendum on our lightning round.
Yeah, this is gonna be on the wiki that somebody else makes at some point.
Kink
Oh,
combat.
One can only
kink
hope.
Combat. Kink combat.
Man, I didn't go hard enough. I didn't know. Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, our team name is Beach Frienders. We fight on the street, but we friend on the beach.
Aw.
Yeah,
I mean that is extreme beach volleyball. After much sobbing in the restroom covered up by the fan. I'm gonna have to give it to the still Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Yes.
Kink combat. Kink combat.
Yeah, and I
Combat.
like Street Fighter more. It was so well earned. Oh, it was so close though.
These chains too strong.
I'm
That was-
sorry, Ryu and
That's okay.
Chun-Li, you guys are really awesome. Mostly Chun-Li, but
Yeah, mostly Chun-Li.
you guys are gonna have to keep being awesome in the Netherworld, I guess.
The chick who's naked with fish bones and fish blood all over her just won.
You're gonna have to keep being awesome in another world, doing your squats. Doing all your damn
Maybe you
squats.
can get those like
bony
bony
squats.
but
I was
still
gonna
ripped
say.
buttocks that Scorpion apparently has.
That's right.
Chun-Li's gonna love doing all those squats.
Well done, you guys. Well done.
Yeah, you too.
You guys brought it. It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
Good job, good job.
That was
job.
that
Good
was
game.
hilarious as I was hoping DOA Extreme was
Oh
gonna win.
man, that was
Oh,
rough.
that was a beautiful lightning
Yeah,
round,
that
kids.
was good.
That was tremendous.
Magical.
Thanks for the tweeters. Rafael Medina tweeted about Extraordinary League, mostly to say the episode should have been called Don't Fear the Weeper. Thanks for dropping the ball, Dan.
Oh,
It should have been.
That's
It
great.
should have been.
Also, thanks to Vander Turner, Sam Makonda, Cosplay Fiend, and Florian for also retweeting Extraordinary League. Thank you guys. I'm glad you like it. Glad you like our crazy, crazy fucking shenanigans over in Westeros. Over to Tumblr, beloved by Forge and Fire, reblogged Scare Games, and said really, really sweet things about us. So thank you. Thank you for always being so great. Your love touches us.
Mm-hmm.
And all the cockles. And that is it for this week, I think, unless I missed people and I'm horrible.
We actually have a new review this week. This review comes to us from Australia. The name that they gave is @OG, and I think it's supposed to be pronounced Timbo Wolf. This is a person on Twitter. They follow us. Name is Tim Pasco. But they say, "Who would win in a fight?" ! As all sentences about Smash Fiction should end. Great fun, nerdy debate style podcast that picks various characters from pop culture and struggles to find out who's superior. Some of the competitions and scenarios vary from the clever to the downright absurd. Not sure which ones I enjoy more. Yes, that is accurate, although I think we've been skewing more in one direction than the other lately.
I mean, you know.
But thank you for the review, and thanks to everyone who reviews. We love seeing them. It helps get eyes on our show, helps bring in more people to listen to us, and
Yeah.
we love hearing from you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Also, thank you to Sam Akonda for giving us the idea of doing a tag team battle. I'm not sure if this is exactly what you meant, but
Probably not.
it was hard, okay? We tried.
Yeah, we like to experiment with the format a bit and see what kinds of matches we like to do. But yeah, thanks for the idea, Sam.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Next week, a Bun Girl battle. Anya Amasova versus Xenia Onatop versus Wei Lin versus Vesper Lind.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Hitman. You can find his work at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Any character from Street Fighter, let alone Ryu. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you've been saying size. It's plural for
Okay,
no,
all right,
No,
all right.
you've woken the pedantic beast. All right.
Any character from Street Fighter, let alone Ryu and Chun-Li.
Nope. Do it again.
You gotta let her go.
Okay.
Chun-Li.
Well, I was gonna say more like Chun-Li, am I right? Chun-Li.
Okay, I'll say it right this time. Mileena will chew up right. Damn it! I keep saying right. Ah!
It's okay. You're American.
America. Actually, no.
No.
Whatever. Ah!
I'm pretty sure it's actually more okay now than it was like on Monday.